Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of uranium. I'll give you my financial opinion. And you know what? Let's just jump right into it. Let's just jump right into it, guys. Here we go. Let's jump right in. Here's the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. This is what I see. So we hit our head on here, and then we went into this kind of lull. And we consolidated. We broke out of the pattern with a nice, big, juicy move. Hit our head on that resistance again and came on back. We're coming back up, and what I'm looking for is how big is the pullbacks, and the pullbacks are pretty small. You can see that we're kind of coming up and creating another pattern like this. It's a big old flag pattern, perhaps, something on the lines of that. The actual pattern doesn't necessarily matter. It's the resistance and the people and the traders behind it. So when I look at this, it does look like we're getting on top of this resistance support, and now using this as support. You know, we've got good support in this area. And we'll see where we go from here. The buyers can push this to the upside whenever they want. So what I do is I position for the move if you want the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. URNM is another one that's kind of right at its resistance support area, this vicinity. Now, what I look for is I look at the highs, and then I look at the lows. The lows are stepping on up. You can see these lows stepping on up. I think that's going to continue, and we'll see where we go from here. Are we going to head higher? Are we going to push higher here? It's a good possibility that we do. And it's looking very strong with the lows stepping up. So that looks good as well. Bannerman's sitting there ripe for the taking. I like buying in these areas because we've broken the pattern. We've used it as support, and the support's holding. I think it's a good spot. Same with Goviax. All through here is a good spot to be looking. That's also on top of its pattern. And if you look like a big picture view on this stuff, guys, we've broken out of the big major resistance area. We're just sitting up here. And that's usually a good risk-reward spot to go higher. So that's what I've got for Goviax. Global Atomic, I already drew this thing in there. We drew that in a while back, and we're still within this pattern. And again, guys, if we come down here, I would say I wouldn't be afraid. I'd be like, yeah, let's go. It's go time to get a little couple more shares for Global Atomic. Thesis Metals is also putting in a little pattern here. It's back out a little bit. It's kind of like a big flag pattern. It's a massive one. The bigger the pattern, the bigger the move to the upside. We're still playing with this upper trend line, or yeah, upper downtrend line. And we'll see where we go from there. Pure Point's stuck, and it's ping-ponging between this support resistance area. We've got a nice, strong support line through there and a resistance line going on the top there. Deep Yellow, looking at Deep Yellow, we've got, I mean, it's broken the downtrend, and we're just hanging out. It's just drifting a little bit higher. Paladin Energy is still coiling up. Wow, we're right on the line here. Right in all of this, you know, it's basically coming up to a point like this, and then it's going to go pop, like that, just like that, with the pop. Sky Harbor, again, we're sitting on top of this pattern here. I think it's low downside risk, high upside potential. Risk reward, I think is decent here. On the very short term, I mean, every time we come up in this section up here, we get selling pressure. That's why we keep bouncing off of it. We come on back, we rest, but notice that the lows continue to go higher. So we're basically developing a large flag pattern that will eventually break. We could go sideways for a little while longer. It's a possibility. It's building energy, which is okay. It's okay to build energy. And Canalaska is sitting on top of its massive pattern right on top here on the big picture scale. I think this looks good. I would be a buyer. I mean, that's me. NXE, another one that's just been kind of moving sideways in this big old pattern on an up megaphone pattern or funnel pattern. Usually these break to the upside and run. Usually. Baseload, this is our boy Baseload with James Sykes, CEO. A little bit of a selling pressure day. We might see a little bit of a pullback before heading higher. But just hang in there. Fission 3.0. Let's back out of this thing. Yeah, we've broken the downtrend line. We've broken, and we're just kind of moving sideways. We might we could drift back even down here and as a possibility. Doesn't mean we will, but I still think it's great. We have good resistance under or support underneath it, and eventually it'll run. You just got to be patient, guys. Fission, again, we're still playing with this line here. Resistance line. Tried breaking out, but sold back off. Camco, we are still above this support line. Still looks good to go. We just need the buyers to show up and say, hey. Kazetum Prom, just move, we've got the good pull up here, a little bit of sideways action that usually results upward just by looking at this type of pattern. Peninsula Energy, another one that I think is good, sitting above a lot of support and resistance, or a bunch of support. There's a bunch of support underneath it. Boss Energy just moving sideways. We've got Consolidated Uranium moving sideways. Lotus Resources, we've come up and hit our head and we're just pausing. The pullback, there's no sellers here, guys. If there were sellers here, they'd drive this lower, but they're not. They're not. They drove it lower here, but they came back up and now there's no sellers left. So, I mean, that's kind of what I see in that pattern. Looking at you, Roy, looks like we could be coming back in this general vicinity. I like it down there. Encore Energy, again, this is a massive, lots of sellers here, lots of buyers here. Interesting. We're squeezing up. Looking at you. And we're still above the support area. We're ping-ponging back and forth. That's all we're doing. We're coiling up. URG, another one that's been following UEC. I guess it's its brother or something. UEC is doing the back and forth thing as well. All the American companies. LEU, another one that I kind of like down here. Not too bad. It's got nice, good long-term support right where it's at. I like buying at support levels. It's what I do. Lightbridge, still moving sideways. ISO Energy, another one that's moving sideways. Hey, my boy Appia is finally hitting it. Remember, and I've said this multiple times, guys, this is where I like to purchase. I did purchase Appia, and look what we're getting. A little bit of buy-in pressure to move on up, guys. It's looking really good. I like the size of this pattern. Now, if I were to do, well, that's a bigger pattern than I thought. Wow. Let me do a trend-based fib extension for you guys, all right? Let's say this was one big move. Let's say the pullback was here. What would a projected move be? 1.618 puts us at $1.80. If we get a big run out of it, we could go to $2.68. Will it run there? I don't know, guys. I don't like doing the projections, but I can tell you this. The genetics leads to higher moves here. The way that this thing is moving. So we could see a big move. We could. Maybe not, but I like the way this thing looks. It looks very nice. DNN moving on sideways today. Again, we're still above the support. Everything's looking good. Blue Sky Uranium getting a little bit of buying pressure. Let me back out here, see what we're at. Oh, yeah, we're just under this. Oh, man. When this thing breaks, guys, this thing's going to be like a massive move. We hit our head on it. Consolidated. Hit our head on it. Consolidated. 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 Hit our head. Hit our head. Hit our head. And then watch those lows. Watch the lows. Step on up. We break that line, guys. It's going to be boom. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. It's going to be jetting when it breaks that thing because there's a lot of built-up pressure there. Forum Energy Metals, another one that's sitting on top of its support line. You saw what happened when this broke out. It broke out at, what's that, 12 cents, ran straight up to 43 cents, came and did a reverse move. This is a very large volatility, which means that we're probably going to head way up when it goes. So we've got good support underneath us. If this comes on back down into 12 cents-ish, I would be a buyer. It's me. AEC is also consolidating under this resistance line. It's getting higher lows, and then eventually we'll break. Looking at Laramide, we're sitting on top of the support line. I like this area here, guys. I really do. It's a good spot. Western Uranium, Vanadium. Zoom in on it. It's just moving sideways. Gaining some some fuel for a move higher. UEXCF's another one that's just sitting on top of the pattern here. What happens is you create this like booty bottom, and then it consolidates here, and then we break. That is part of the pattern. The volume is also saying that that's probably going to happen. Mega Uranium's doing the same thing. It's got this kind of double booty bottom, and then we consolidate here. I like buying at these consolidation areas before a big move. Standard Uranium, this guy could be putting in a bottom too with the booty. There's my awesome drawing. On the dailies, we're just sitting down here quite low, going sideways. ALXEF, another one that is right below its long-term trend. We got to break that. Once we break that, it is game on like Donkey Kong. Azincourt continues to basically coil up. We're coiling up here, guys. And then, gone. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Valora Metals, again, I like being up in this area over here. When you break a downtrend line, it'll pause, and then, boom, it'll pop. And then Elevate's another spot. I like when they kind of consolidate, and then they run. They'll do a consolidation, bump and run. I'll call it the bump and run. So we bump up, and then we consolidate and run. So it's coming, guys. Everything looks really good. I would be, I don't know, I would be buying. That's me. I like uranium. I like the companies where they're at. I like the chart patterns. I already bought a bunch of Appia Energy right when it broke, or actually before it broke out. Now it's starting to run a little bit. The rare earths, it's trading more like a rare earth than a uranium company, because the rare earths are running. And if we can get a combined uranium rare earth run, maybe that thing will be extra juiced. It'll be juiced. It'll be like Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds and Alex Rodriguez and Sammy Sosa, all the juiced up guys. But yeah, everything looks great, guys. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.